Yo, what's up, fam? This is Overtime Tom here, and today we are chilling with Donovan Mitchell. He has a ton of dope things going on right now, but first, I want to give a big shout out to Body Armor. They set this whole thing up. Thank you, guys. Donovan, what's up? Where are you at, and how's the offseason going?
I'm good. Thank you for having me. I'm down in Florida right now, getting ready for the season. I'm just getting ready to work, or getting ready to start. Start the season. Just been working, man. Just nonstop, trying to get back to it.
For sure, yeah. The season's coming up real quick. Obviously, you had a huge day yesterday. Got the max contract. I saw you celebrating, jumped in the pool. Family's excited. Everyone's hyped. What's that moment like when you really finally know that it's done? And have you bought anything massive since locking that down? I know people are probably curious.
No, I haven't bought anything massive yet. But the moment is really just for me. I look at it. Everybody looks at the number and says, "Wow, like you're doing well for yourself, whatever." But for me, it's like my sister's good. My mom's good. My sister's kids are good. My kids are good. That's where my mindset was. You work so hard not to just put yourself in a position to have wealth, but generational wealth. And I think that's one thing I'm really blessed to be able to get to this point and do, not just for myself, but for my family, and for my kids that'll come later.
Nah, for sure. And that was actually the first thing I thought about too, seeing it, because it's like, obviously you're in the NBA, you're already making money, but like now it's like, hey, like this is life changing. This sets a lot of things up. So I know that's really special, and I know how that's kind of probably the biggest thing for you. Overall, though, I feel like you're so well respected in the league. Like, you honestly might have the highest approval rating. I know you're not going to say it, but like, I don't know anyone that doesn't love Donovan Mitchell, which is like a testament to just how hard you work and how you kind of go about yourself. But like, when that moment happens, is there certain players or like certain people that reach out to you where you're like, that's like your crew that you're kind of looking for advice and guidance from? Or
Yeah, I mean, I have my friends in the league, guys who I've known, like my best friend Eric, and my best friend on the team Royce. Those two guys I talk to probably the most throughout the league. But my teammates, without any of those guys, without them trusting me, my rookie year, my second year, my third year, there is no opportunity for any of this. And then you go to some of the older guys, the vets, Dwayne Wade, Chris Paul. Paul George, Melo, like those guys, the CP and Paul George, I've said that story that they've basically told me that I should not go back to school and stay in the draft, because I was going to go back to school and not go into the draft. And then Dwayne has been really a mentor to me, just trying to really, whether it's from working out or, advice about, getting a chef or doing weights and how he approaches certain things in the off season, how he approaches certain moves in the post or in the pick and roll, or what he sees or what he saw when he was playing that could help me. I think is something that's really, really. I don't think they understand the role that is, the effect that it's had on me. And then Melo, I've watched Melo work out. Obviously, being from New York, I've watched him work out since I was in college, and really just pushed me to be better, whether he knows it or not. Pushed me to be a better player myself. So those guys in particular that I like to just say, kind of give a quick shout out to, because like I said, whether they know it or not, they were definitely the few of the guys that pushed me, whether it was directly or inadvertently, like just continue to help me continue to work.
Yeah, I feel like that's the coolest part, is like, you guys are obviously all competitive, and it's the same thing like any job kind of, but like at the end of the day, you kind of all help each other out. And I think it's cool when the older guys see like a younger guy like yourself who's going to blow up and start doing things the right way to lead that way. But you mentioned a story that I wanted to ask you about. Anyways, I had it later on, but the CP3 Carmelo getting you to stay in like, what happened there? Were you guys working out and this happened, or like, how did this all happen?
So it was actually CP and Paul George, and we worked out pre-draft. I'm in LA. I'm paying for all my stuff, so I'm staying eligible for the NCAA. And we worked out, and they saw me work out once. I think it was really recent. It was pretty recent it was right after they had just lost to, believe it or not, the Jazz. The Clippers had just lost to the Jazz in the seventh, I believe it was, in LA. which I couldn't go to, which was pretty crazy. But so that happened, and then he came, Chris Paul, and they came, and we worked out and we played, and then next thing you knew, they were like, bro, like, what are you doing? Like, why are you going back to school? You know, you should be getting ready to go into the draft and play. And, you know, for me, that's really all I needed to hear. I heard it from my agent now. Well, I always tell him I thought he was full of it because I thought he just wanted me to just go to the draft. I have people around me. I just didn't know, you know, and I was just like, once those guys told me, like, all right, like, this is something you should probably do. I was like, all right, like, and I was all in at that point.
That's crazy. Because you have, like, two of the best players in the NBA telling you to go, and, like, no one's going to know better than them. Like, your agent can say something, but that's awesome. And you think you would have went back to Louisville if it wasn't for that?
100%. Like, no doubt in my mind. I was going to go back for my junior year. I had said it in the interview, actually, after we lost to Michigan in the second round. I was like, I'm coming back to school. And my mind was set. Even when I went out to LA, I was like, it's good to train and be around that, but I'm going back. And then when they told me that, I started looking at the reality that I'm probably not going back to school.
That's amazing. That's awesome. So obviously you guys worked out together, and I feel like everyone in the NBA works really hard. Like, everyone trains, but it seems like you specifically, like, every year you've gotten, like, so much better, whether it's, like, in one area or it's doing different things or it's your confidence or your shot, whatever it is. Like, you're clearly in the gym nonstop. What's what's the hardest type of training you can do? Like, what's a normal day or a really hard day for you, you in the off season when you're getting ready for the season?
He's gonna hate that I do this, but I gotta give a prop shout out to my former assistant coach, Johnny Bryant. He works for the Knicks now. He was with me for my first 3 years. I've played for Coach Pitino. I've played with people, but he's pushed me to certain limits that, you got me to a point where I was comfortable being uncomfortable. I feel like people don't understand when I tell people and tell kids younger than me, like, how do you get to a certain level? How do you continue to grow? I think the biggest thing is you have to be comfortable being uncomfortable. Everybody, we do a lot of things in this generation. We do a lot of things for Instagram and social media and whatnot, but it's the stuff that you do when no one's watching. It's easy to go hard when Coach is in there, Coach K, Roy Williams, Coach Cowles. It's easy when you got NBA scouts in the gym. It's easy, to go hard. But, when you're by yourself, are you running this hard? Are you doing certain things? So for me, and to answer your question, I know it's a long-winded answer, but to answer your question, like, a crazy day would be like you work out for an hour, but you're doing things nonstop on the move, continuing moving, maybe get water once, hour and 30 minutes straight, then you go do weights, then you come back later on the night and get some more shots up, go to sleep, and you're waking up at 6 a.m., over and over again.
It's just consistent.
Nonstop. And that's a typical, summer for me.
Got it. That's amazing. And tell us about the shoe collab you got going on with Adidas and Body Armor. I know people are interested in that.
Yeah, so, with obviously I have my own shoe, the Donovan shoe too, the second shoe. And I love the fact that, both of my partners were able to come together. We were able to collab and do something, with Body Armor. I've been with them since 2018. They're the ultimate sports performance drink, and I think for me, my favorite color being Tropical Punch, which I have right here with me. Like, I love and then I'm talking about my love for my shoes being bright, colors, different colors on the shoe. I love that we made that collab, made that connection. And just being able just to grow in different ways, Kobe Bryant, may he rest in peace, was kind of the catalyst and the starter behind all this. And, for me, just continuing to find ways to push the message he's always brought with the determination over negativity. His is Mamba mentality, but it's the same message, which, there's always going to be something that's stopping you. There's always going to be something that's in your way, but continuing to push through, there's always going to be a reason why not to, and there's always going to be a reason not to do certain things. But with this, with the collab, with my shoe, with Body Armor, the message has always been the same, like, find a way to get better and push ourselves to be the best that we can.
That's awesome. And you mentioned some of the people that have been involved, and I know they just signed, Body Armor also just got Trae Young and John Morant to join the family too. and I've been pushing this on Body Armor. Maybe it'll happen one day. But you guys get in the gym, the three of you, king of the court. Who wins?
Me, for sure.
You easily. I mean, those guys are young. They're kind of smaller than you. I get it.
You know what I'm saying? You can't, even if which I don't, I do believe I would win, but even if I didn't, you can't say anybody else as a competitor. You can't. It doesn't matter.
Absolutely.
I got the same question and say them, but I'm definitely taking that one.
Switching gears, there's something going on with number 13 pick. All right, you got drafted 13. Zach LaVine did. Devin Booker. We're gonna talk about Tyler Herro in a minute. He did too. What is that like the spot to get picked in now?
Yeah, I guess it's the lucky number. I guess we have a lot of guys who've done really really solid things in our early careers right now. Guys who are solid. So on top of that, Kobe Bryant was picked 13th as well. So big shoes to fill for all of us. But I think we're all happy with where we're at in our careers, and there's definitely more that we all can do. But I think 13 is a lucky number for sure.
Yeah, and I mentioned Tyler Herro, but he went 13 obviously this past year. And for you, your rookie year, like you had an amazing rookie year. But I feel like you blew up when you had like that great playoff series also there, right? And he kind of had something similar where like he had a solid rookie year, but in the playoffs down in the bubble, he like exploded. And I was wondering, one, like you got to play against him once during the season, I think. He had a pretty solid game, if I'm not mistaken. But did you get a chance to see him? Like, what do you see in his game that like translates so well in the NBA? Why did he work so well in the bubble?
I think his confidence for one. That's a lot of it for guys in the league is confidence. Because as a rookie, you come in, you go from watching these guys on TV. You're watching these organizations. Now you're playing for them. You're watching these moments. Now you're in them. It can be a big moment for people. And for him, there is no moment that he doesn't run from. That's what I love about watching his game, because he's just someone that just seizes the moment. Doesn't get too ahead of himself. Knows his game. Knows what he needs to do. Locks in, and he's just a killer. And he knows it, and he's not afraid to show it. And I think that's one thing I really respect about his game. And just his character and his persona, I think, is something that is just his aura that he carries himself with is really impressive, especially for a rookie. And I'm excited to see what he does in year two.
Yeah, the confidence is unreal. It's ridiculous a little bit. We work a lot with Jordan McCabe, who's like Tyler's best friend, and he tells us stories about him too, and he's wild. But I think he'll keep going. I want to ask you another question about a young guy. LaMelo Ball just got drafted to Charlotte. And it's kind of an interesting situation because it's not that far off from how you went to Utah, where it was like they have some pieces there, but they haven't been able to put it together. And Charlotte more so than Utah, obviously. Utah's had some other years. But LaMelo's going into a situation where he's like the rookie who's supposed to come in and hopefully have a similar role to how you did with Utah, where like kind of take reins of the team and kind of change the culture there. I'm curious, like, have you been able to see him play at all? What are your thoughts? And also, like, some advice for someone like him who's going into that situation.
Well, I mean, I haven't really watched much, besides the highlights you see, on Twitter and Instagram and whatnot. But, the one thing I will say, you got my former high school teammate, Devontae Graham over there. You got Terry Rozier. You got Melo. They got a solid young core. I think the biggest thing for him is just being able to come in and listen. The eyes are going to be on him, but, there's things that he's not going to know, and I think being able to listen and, you got the greatest player of all time as your GM. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Like that's one thing that I feel like from day one you should be asking questions every day until he gets sick of you. Just to pick his brain, and find a way to be the best player you can be, because there's going to be expectation, no doubt for sure. But I think if he just goes in there with an open mind and goes out there and listens, and because I'm not saying he won't, but I think for the biggest thing for him, I would say going in just to ask and figure out and just enjoy the process. It's not always going to be sunshine and rainbows, though. It's not going to be perfect. But go out there and just, like I said, similar like I said about Tyler, just having that confidence. They're going to be great games. They're going to be bad ones. But moving on to the next one, no matter what, I think is the biggest thing.
Yeah. Forgot you played. That's really good advice. I forgot you played with Devontae. Is that at Brewster?
Yeah, at Brewster. My junior year.
You, him, Jalen LeCuse, he just got traded to the Pacers, but he went there. Terrence Clark's a freshman at Kentucky. He'll be a first-round pick this upcoming year. Dwayne Wade's son's there now, so a good legacy from Brewster. Shout out to them. Well, thank you, Donovan. You've been awesome. Shout out to Body Armor again for hooking this up. We know you got a lot to do, but we appreciate you stopping by, Spida, and hope to talk again soon.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Thanks, Tom.
OT is taking over the world, y'all. You got to get fitted head to toe like your boy. Woo, yeah, I'm rocking that Overtime Fits Takeover collection. If you're trying to add it to yours, man, make sure you hit the link below in the description. I got to go tell my mama I'm on overtime. Mama!